Hello, it's Campbell here with the table homework. Tried this a few minutes ago, and I had gotten to the Freedom Scientific website, and I realized I'd forgotten to share screen. So here's take two, and let's share screen this time with Alt-S.
Alt-S, select the window or application that you want to share. Basic tab check selected. Sharing list box. Click arrow key to navigate the list semicolon with default value selected. Screen list box screen. Share your entire screen. Remove one item. Press the arrow key. Share computer sound. Checkbox unchecked. Set space checked.
Definitely want computer sound.
Optimize screen sharing or video clip. Checkbox unchecked. Check press space checked.
I think we need that.
Share screen button to activate. Press space bar.
All right, here we go.
Zoom meeting. Meeting controls. Alert to video.
Okay. Maybe I shouldn't have hit control, but I think I know what it was going to say. All right, so I've already got the tables with JAWS page open, so I'm just going to Alt-Tab to that.
Zoom to move to an item. Tables with JAWS Google Chrome.
Oh, okay, I see.
Tables with JAWS Google Chrome. Column 1, row 1. Blank. Tables with JAWS.
All right. So I'm going to hit T to get to the first table.
Table with 7 columns and 5 rows. TV listings with both column and row headers. A table that has the name of the network down the left side and the show times across the top. This is table 1, column 1, row 1. Blank.
So we've got some nice feedback there. So the first thing I'm going to do with this table is I'm just going to do Control, Alt, and then arrow keys to navigate. So I'm going to start just by right arrowing across the top row. We hear that the first cell is blank.
8 p.m. column 2. Blank column 1.
That's the first cell.
8 p.m. column 2. 8:30 p.m. column 9 p.m. column 4. 9:30 p.m. column 5. 10 p.m. column 6. 10:30 p.m. column 7. End of row.
And there's that. And let's see, I think if I do Control Alt Home, it'll get me to the first cell.
Blank column 1, row 1.
Yay, it worked. I think Control Alt End gets me to the last cell, but let's see.
Parenthood spans 2 columns, column 5, row 5, 10 p.m. NBC.
Yep.
Blank column 1, row 1.
Okay. Now I'm just gonna go down, I'm gonna go down the first column and then go to the right a little bit to see how it's marked up.
ABC, row 2.
Now let's see.
8 p.m. Grey's Anatomy spans 2 columns, column 2. 9 p.m. Scandal spans 2 columns, column 3.
So it's giving the column headers as I right arrow.
10 p.m. How to Get Away with Murder spans 2 columns, end of row.
And I'm thinking that there's a command to get to the beginning of the row. Let's try this. I don't think this is it. I'm doing Control Alt Shift comma.
Alt Control Shift comma.
Nope.
Alt Control comma.
I just tried Control Alt comma too. Wait. Let's just try Shift comma because I know with lists you can do Shift comma to get to the top and Shift period to get to the bottom. I think Shift comma might get to the top of the table. Let's see.
Table with 7 columns and 5 rows.
Yeah. And then now let's do Shift period and see what happens.
Table end.
Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense. Now let's go back to the top with Shift comma again.
Table with 7 columns and 5 rows.
Okay.
Bottom of column. Top of column. A. TV listings with both column and row headers.
Okay, so it gets you to the table title.
Heading level 2 TV listings with both column and blank. Blank. 8 p.m. ABC. ABC column 1. 8 p.m. Grey's Anatomy spans CBS. The Big Bang Theory row 3.
So then when you arrow down,
Fox Bones spans 2 columns, row 4.
it gives you the row headers.
NBC. The Biggest Loser spans 2 columns, row 5. 9 p.m. Bad Judge column 3.
And then if you right arrow like I did just now, it gives you column headers.
9:30 p.m. But the Z column 4. Bottom of column. 9 p.m. Bad Fox. Grace Point spans 2 columns, row CBS. 2.5 Men, row 3.
And there's row headers again. All right, so let's look at the next table.
Table with 6 columns and 5 rows. TV listings with only column headers. A table that has the show times across the top but no row headers. This is table 2, column 1, row 1. 8 p.m.
Okay. Let's see.
Grey's Anatomy. 8 p.m. row 1. 8:30 p.m. column 2.
So I was right arrowing a little bit. I'm doing Control Alt and arrow keys again.
Grey's Anatomy spans Mom, row 3. 8 p.m. The Big Bang Theory column beginning of row. 8 p.m. column 1, row 1.
And that time I just did Control Alt Home to get to the top. So this time I'm going to try insert space and then T so I can navigate the table in the table layer of JAWS layer mode.
Space. T. Table layer.
Okay, and now I should just be able to use my arrow keys.
Grey's Anatomy spans 2 columns. Row 2. The Big Bang Theory. Row 3. Beginning of row. 8:30 p.m. Mom. Column 2. 9 p.m. 2.5 Men. Column 3. Scandal spans 2 columns. 9 p.m. Row 1. Scandal 2.5 Men. Row 3. 9:30 p.m. The McCarthys. Column 4. 8:30 p.m. Beginning of row.
So yeah, I was just using arrow keys there. And as we can see, and as was previously stated in the web page, this table only has column headers. It doesn't have row headers. So I don't think this will work for this case, but I'm going to try insert V and then changing my table title settings. So I'm going to get out of layered mode. Kind of like that sound for some reason that it makes when you get out. Okay.
Quick settings dash Chrome dialog. Search box edit. Type in text. Control plus E.
So that was insert V. I'm going to type in titles.
T-L-E-S. Titles. Free search results list box. Table titles only marked headers. Table options. Virtual cursor options. Use the arrow keys to select an item. Press the space bar to toggle between the choices.
And I just arrowed down. So let's hit space bar until we get to row.
Space off 1 of 5. Space row 2 of 5.
There we go. And I'm going to hit enter.
Enter level 0. Search edit box cleared. Preview level 2. Table titles row 2 of 3. Table options. Virtual cursor options.
Okay, and I think I can just hit escape from here.
Escape.
Alright, so I'm going to go back to Control Alt arrow keys for a second. And let's see if it changed anything.
Bones spans 2 columns. The Big Bang Theory. Row 3. Beginning of row. Mom. Column 2. 2.5 Men. Column 3. American Idol spans 2 columns. Row 4. 2.5 Men. Row 3. The McCarthys. Column 4. Elementary spans 2 columns. Column 5.
Okay. Oh, okay. That makes sense. It doesn't announce columns. I didn't think about that. So let's see what it does when I do both row and column. So I'm going to do insert V again.
Quick settings dash Chrome dialog. Search box edit. T-E-S. Titles. Table titles. 1 of 3 search results. Free search results list box. Table titles row. Table options. Virtual cursor options. Use the arrow keys to select an item. Press the space bar to toggle between the choices.
There's that. So I'm going to hit, I just down arrowed to it. So I'm going to space bar till we get to both row and column.
Space column 3 of 5. Space both row and column 4 of 5.
Yep, there we go. And hit enter here.
Enter. Search edit box cleared. Preview. Table titles both row and column 2 of 3. To move through or expand items, use the arrow keys.
And escape.
Escape.
Trying to narrate everything. Okay, so now let's see.
Fox 5 News at 10. Spans 2 column. Elementary spans 2 column. End of row. 9:30 p.m. The McCarthys. Column 4. 9 p.m. 2.5 Men. Column. American Idol spans 2 columns. Row 4. Bad Judge. Row 5. 9:30 p.m. But the Z. Column 3. 10 p.m. Parenthood spans 2 columns. Column 4.
And I'm doing Control Alt and arrow keys again.
Fox 5 News at 10. Spans 2 columns. Row 9 p.m. American Idol 8 p.m. Bones spans 2 columns. Beginning of row. The Biggest Loser spans 2 columns. Row 5.
Yeah, for that one, it doesn't give you the row headers. So, oh well. Just gives you column. So let's jump to the next table with T.
Table with 7 columns and 5 rows. TV listings with column and row headers that are not marked up properly. A table that has the name of the network down the left side and the show times across the top. This table is not marked up with table header data. This is table 3, column 1, row 1, blank.
Okay, so while JAWS is on the current setting that it's on for tables, which is to read which is to read both column and row headers. Let's see if it'll read this at all. And then I'm going to adjust some settings. So let's do insert space and T, because that's easy.
Space, T, table layer.
It makes it easy to navigate. Here we go.
ABC, row 2. Blank, row 1. ABC, CBS, row 3. The Big Bang Theory, column 2. Mom, column 3. Grey's Anatomy, spans 2 columns, row 2.
Yeah, I'm just kind of up and down, right and left arrowing.
8:30 p.m., row 1. Top of column. Grey's Anatomy, spans 2 columns, row 2. Mom, row 3. Bones, spans 2 columns. The Biggest Loser, spans 2 columns, bottom of column. NBC, column 1. Fox, row 4. CBS, row 3. ABC, row 2. Blank, row 1.
Yeah, so the only feedback that we're getting, besides, of course, the contents of each table cell, is the row and column in which each cell is. And so we're still not getting any information as far as rows and columns. And I'm pretty sure that down below this table, it says that you should be able to configure it. configure your JAWS settings to read the table correctly. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so let's see.
ABC, row 2.
Now, okay, I'm just going to get to the end of the table.
At the Z, column 4, row 5.
That time I just used Control Alt and.
Bottom of column, bottom of column, bottom of column.
Oh, I've got to get out of table mode. I forgot. There we go.
Parenthood. At the Z.
Okay, I'm going to do Shift period actually.
Space.
Oh, I accidentally did caps lock instead of Shift.
Table end.
Okay, there we go.
Blank. Exercise colon. Follow the steps below to tell JAWS to read both column and row headers for the table above that does not have proper markup colon.
Okay, so let's read these.
List of 7 items. 1. Press insert plus V to open the JAWS quick settings dialog box while the table's page is still in the foreground. The quick settings dialog box opens with focus in the search edit box.
Okay, so I did that earlier. I'm going to do it again in a minute. I'm going to do all these again in a minute to make sure that my settings are still configured correctly.
2. Type table titles in the edit box. The tree view below filters out all items not related to table titles. 3. Press down arrow to move to the item table titles in the tree view. Use your JAWS announce quote only marked headers quote. 4. Press spacebar to change this to table titles dash both row and column. 5. Press tab to move to the OK button and then activate it with the spacebar. The quick settings dialog box closes. 6. Navigate to the table above and try reading it again. You can press Shift plus T to move to the prior table. Does it make more sense this time? 7. Set the quick settings back to table titles announce dash only marked headers again when you are finished.
Okay, so let's do Shift T to get back to the table.
Table with 7 columns and 5 rows. TV listings with column and row headers that are not marked up properly. A table that has the name of the network down the left side and the show times across the top. This table is not marked up with table header data. This is table 3, column 1, row 1, blank.
Okay, so let's do Insert V and see if I can configure my settings any differently to make it talk correctly.
Quick settings dash Chrome dialog. Search box edit. Type in text. Control plus E.
Okay, I'm just going to type titles.
T E S. Titles. Free search results list box. Table titles both row and column. Table options. Virtual cursor options. Use the arrow keys to select an item. Press the space bar to toggle between the choices.
Yeah, so it's both row and column. I don't think this will affect anything, but I'm gonna, instead of hitting enter, I'm just gonna tab to the OK button and hit spacebar.
Read only edit. This option controls which table header titles are to be announced when a table cell is spoken. Select off to have no titles announced. You can select row. Use your reading keys to read the text.
Okay, interesting.
Expand preview checkbox checked. OK button to activate. Press spacebar.
And there we go.
Space.
All right. So let's see now.
ABC row 2. Blank row 1.
I'm using Control Alt and arrow keys again.
ABC Grey's Anatomy spans 2 columns. Column Scandal spans 2 columns. Column 3. 2.5 Men row 3. Grace Point spans 2 columns. Row 4. Bad Judge row 5. Bottom of column. The Biggest Loser spans 2 columns. Column 2.
No, it doesn't seem to be making any difference. I'll switch it back to only marked headers to see if there's any difference. But it was doing this when I was doing it with Prof. Betsy as well. So let's try insert space and V again.
Space. Wrapping the top. Visited link graphic search up.
Whoops.
Escape.
That is not what I need to do. I need to do insert V.
Tables with JAWS. Table with 7 columns. Table with 6. Table with 7 columns and 5 rows. TV listings with column and row headers that are not marked up properly.
Okay.
A table that.
There's that. All right.
Quick settings dash Chrome dialog. Search box edit. Type in text. Control plus E.
Okay.
T E S. Titles. Free search results list box. Table titles both row and column. Table options. Virtual cursor options. Use the arrow keys to select an item. Press the space bar to toggle between the choices.
Okay, let's switch to only marked headers.
Space. Only marked headers. 5 of 5.
And I think hitting enter should be fine.
Enter. Search edit box cleared. Preview. Table titles only marked headers. 2 of 3. To move through or expand items, use the arrow keys.
Escape.
Escape.
All right.
ABC row 2. Blank row 1. 8 p.m. column 2. Grey's Anatomy spans 2 columns. Row 2. The Big Bang Theory row 3. Bones spans 2 columns. Row The Biggest Loser spans 2 columns. Row bottom of column. Bad Judge column 3. Grace Point spans 2.5 Men row 3.
It seems exactly the same to me as it did before. I was using Control Alt arrow keys again. But yeah, I don't think that really changed anything. So I'm not sure why. So let's go to the next table and see what happens.
Table with 6 columns and 5 rows. TV listings with only column headers that are not marked up properly. A table that has the show times across the top but no row headers. This table is not marked up with table header data. This is table 4, column 1, row 1, 8 p.m.
All right. I'm sorry, I keep yawning. Okay, let's see.
Grey's Anatomy spans 2, beginning of row. The Big Bang Theory row 3. Bones spans 2 columns, row 4. The Biggest Loser spans 2 columns, row 5. Bottom of column. Bad Judge, column 2. Graceful 2.5 net scandal spans 2 column. How to Get Away with Murder spans 2 column. Elementary spans local parenthood spans bottom of column.
Okay, so that was Control Alt Arrow keys again. Let's see what JAWS has to say about this, or what Freedom Scientific has to say about this table. The end.
Table end. Blank. When you encounter this type of table, you can change how JAWS reads column and row headers. In this case, you know that the information in row 1 at the top of each column is header information, even though it is not properly marked up. You also know that you do not want to have the first column treated as row headers. Exercise : follow the steps below to tell JAWS to read only column headers for the table above that does not have proper markup : List of 7 items. 1. Press Insert +V to open the JAWS Quick Settings dialog box while the table's page is still in the foreground. The Quick Settings dialog box opens with Focus in the search edit box.
I think it's the same procedure as last time, except you just select columns instead of both row and columns. So I'm just going to make sure, and then I'll try it.
2. Type table titles in the edit box. The tree view below filters out all items not related to table titles. 3. Press down arrow to move to the item table titles in the tree view. You should hear JAWS announce only marked headers. 4. Press spacebar to change this to table titles columns. 5. Press tab to move to the OK button and then activate it with the spacebar. The Quick Settings dialog box closes. 6. Navigate to the table above and try reading it again. You can press Shift +T. 5. Press tab to move to the OK button. 6. Navigate to the table above and try reading it again. You can press Shift +T to move to the prior table. Does it make more sense this time? 7. Set the JAWS Quick Settings option back to table titles. Announce only marked headers again when you are finished.
Okay.
List end.
Okay, let's get back to the table.
Table with 6 columns and 5 rows. TV listings with only column headers that are not marked up properly. A table that has the show times across the top but no row headers. This table is not marked up with table header data. This is table 4, column 1, row 1, 8 p.m.
Let's do Insert V.
Quick Settings Chrome dialog. Search box edit. Type in text. Hint T-E-S. Titles. Free search results list box. Table titles only marked headers. Table options. Virtual cursor options. Use the arrow keys to select an item. Press the space bar to toggle between the choices.
Okay, I'll select column.
Space off. Space row 2. Space column 3 of 5.
Okay. Enter.
Enter. Search edit box cleared. Preview. Table titles column 2 of 3. To move escape.
Okay. Okay, now let's see.
Grey's Anatomy spans 2 columns. Row 2. 8 p.m. Row 1.
Okay.
Grey's Anatomy scandal spans 2 columns. How to Get Away with Murder spans 2 columns. Column 3.
Doesn't seem to be working, so I'm going to try getting out of the table and then coming back to it. So I'm going to shift comma to get to the top.
Table with 6 columns and 5 rows. Summary: A table that has the show times across the top but no row headers. This table is not marked up with table header data. This is table 4.
Up arrowed.
Blank. Because the table is not marked up properly, JAWS does not read the column headers. List end. Bullet TV show listing from the current cell. Bullet column and row position in the bullet TV show listing from the current cell.
Oh, it looks like there might be some interesting information right here. Let's see.
Bullet column list of 2. I use table headers to mark up the HTML. When you read the current, the fourth table has only the times listed across list end. 7. Set 6. Navigate to the table above and try reading it again. You can press Shift +T to move to the prior table. Does it make more sense this time?
Okay, so those are the steps we did before.
7. Set list end. The fourth table has only the times listed across the top. The network names that were in the first column have been removed. Again, the author did not use table headers to mark up the HTML. When you read the current cell, you hear only the following information: List of 2 items. Bullet space. List of 2 bullet column and row position in the table. Bullet TV show listing from the current cell.
Okay.
List end. Because the table is not marked up properly, JAWS does not read the column headers. Blank. Summary: A table that has the show times across the top but no row headers. This table is not marked up with table header data. This is table 4. Table with 6 columns and 5 rows. Bottom of column. TV listings with only column headers that are not marked up properly. 8 p.m., 8:30 p.m., 9 p.m., 9:30. Top of column. Grey's Anatomy spans 2 columns. Row 2. Beginning of row.
I had accidentally done Control down arrow instead of Control Alt down arrow, so it just started reading an entire row, I think. Okay. So when I changed it to column, it doesn't seem to have changed anything.
Scandal spans 2 columns. Grey's Anatomy spans 2 columns. Column 1. Beginning of row. Scandal spans 2 columns. Column 2. How to Get Away with Murder spans 2 columns. Column 3. End of row. End of row.
Yeah. I'm not seeing anything. Alright, let's see if there are any more tables. Well, actually, I'm going to change it to only marked headers again.
Quick Settings Chrome dialog. Search box edit. Type in text. Control +E.
So Insert V and then titles.
T-E-S. Titles. 1 of 3 search results list box. Table titles column. Table options. Virtual cursor options. Use the arrow keys to select an item. Press the space bar to toggle between the choices.
Okay, I think a space bar once.
Space. Both row and column. 4 of 5.
Wait, no, twice.
Space. Only marked headers. 5 of 5.
There we go. Enter.
Enter. Search edit box cleared. Preview. Table titles only marked headers. 2 of 3. To move through expand items. Escape.
Alright. Let's get to the next table if there are any more.
Table with 4 columns and 13 rows. Average temperatures for St. Petersburg. A table that has the average high temperature, low temperature, and water temperature across the top of the months of the year down the left-hand side for the St. Petersburg area. Column 1. Row 1. Month.
Okay. So there's that. I'm going to up arrow to look at any background information that there might be for this table. So let's see.
Heading level average temperatures for St. Petersburg. Table with 4 columns and 13 rows. Left-hand side for the St. Petersburg area. Summary: enjoy the area's beaches, which include year. Begin this book of world record. The next table on this page discusses air and water temperatures for heading level 2. Practice with more tables. List end. 7. Press 6. Press 7. Press tab to move to the OK list end.
Okay.
Heading level 2. Practice with more tables. The next table on this page discusses air and water temperatures for the Tampa Bay area. The Tampa Bay area enjoys an average of 361 days of sunshine. Year. Begin this book of world records. Credits St. Petersburg with the longest run of consecutive sunny days: 768. All the sunshine makes it easy to enjoy the area's beaches, which include 2 of the top 10 rated beaches in the nation. Summary: A table that has the average high temperature, low temperature, and water temperature across the top of the months of the year down the left-hand side for the St. Petersburg area. Table with 4 columns and 13 rows.
Okay.
Average temperatures for St. Petersburg.
So I'm going to use insert space T.
Space. T. Table layer.
All right. Let's see.
Bottom of column. Top of column.
Oh, I'm not in the table yet.
Table with 3 columns and 4 rows. Employee extensions and departments. A table that has a table with 4 columns and 13 rows. Average temperatures for St. Petersburg. A table that has the average high temperature, low temperature, and water temperature across the top of the months of the year down the left-hand side for the St. Petersburg area. Column 1, row 1, month.
Okay, so I've done T and then Shift plus T to get back here. Okay. Now let's do insert space T.
Space. T. Table layer.
Okay. Let's see.
January, row 2. Month, row 1.
So months and then
High air temperature, column 2.
higher temperature.
Low air temperature, column 3. Gulf water temperature, column 4. End of row. Low air high month, beginning of row. January, row 2. High air temperature, 70 degrees, column 2. Low air temperature, 50 degrees, column 3. Gulf water temperature, 64 degrees, column end of row. Low air temperature, high air temperature, 70 degrees, column 2. Month, January, column 1. Beginning of row.
Sounds like a place I might want to live. Januaries in East Tennessee are not fun, particularly. Lots of rain, usually.
February, row 3. High air temperature, 71 degrees, column 2. Low air temperature, 51 degrees, column Gulf water temperature, 65 degrees, column end of row. Low air, high air month, February, beginning of row. High air temperature, 71 degrees, column 2. Month, February, column 1. March, row 4.
So these row and column headings are marked up pretty well, it looks like.
High air temperature, 77 degrees, column 2. Low air temperature, 58 degrees, column 3. Gulf water temperature, 69 degrees, column 4. End of row. Low air temperature, 58 degrees. High air temperature, 77 degrees. Month, March, column 1.
It looks like it's set up pretty well. I just want to see what the high temperature increases to.
High air temperature, 77 degrees, column April, 81 degrees, row 5. May, 88 degrees, row 6. June, 89 degrees, row 7. July, 90 degrees, row 8. August, 90 degrees, row 9. September, 89 degrees, row 10. October, 82 degrees, row 11. November, 78 degrees, row 12. December, 72 degrees, row 13.
So it doesn't get too cold there, I guess.
Low air temperature, 50 degrees, column 3. High air temperature, 72 degrees, column 2.
Even in December and January, the low was in the 50s. But that's not particularly relevant right now, I guess. So I'm going to hit escape. So I'm out of layered mode now, or out of the table layer.
50 degrees. 64 degrees.
Okay, I'm going to shift period to get to the bottom.
Table end.
Okay, now let's see.
Blank. The information above is taken from the Chamber of Commerce website in St. Petersburg.
No, I don't need to know that. I'm going to do another T for another table.
Table with 3 columns and 4 rows. Employee extensions and departments. A table that has the employee's division in the first column, the employee's name in the second column, and the employee's phone extension in the last column. Column 1, row 1, division name.
Okay, gonna read the background information again.
Employee extensions and departments. Employee extensions and departments. Table with 3 columns and 4 rows. The last column. The table below is an example of a table that uses the ID axis and headers attributes to make with a lemon yellow background, which is darker than the ivory background of the other table. Way to accomplish formatting. Surfs up also makes use of cascading style when you are finished. Change JAWS back to simple layout mode.
Huh, okay, let's see.
The information above is taken from the Chamber of Commerce website in St. Petersburg. Blank. Table end. Blank. The information above is taken from the Chamber of Commerce website in St. Petersburg.
I'm using arrow keys.
Exercise : try reading the previous table using screen layout mode instead of simple layout mode. If you need a reminder about how to switch document. Presentation mode. See link steps for switching to screen layout mode. When you are finished, change JAWS back to simple layout mode. Link step presentation mode. See Exercise : try reading the previous table using screen layout mode instead of simple layout mode. If you need a reminder about how to switch document. Presentation mode. See link steps for switching to screen layout mode.
Okay. I'm gonna look at that because I don't remember.
Enter. Untitled Google Chrome. Screen layout mode step I step instructions Google Chrome. Press Ctrl plus F4 to close this window when you are finished reading it. Page has no links. Screen layout mode step I step instructions. Screen layout mode step I step instructions. Do the following to enable screen layout mode in your web browser: List of 5 items. 1. In the web browser, press Insert plus V. The quick settings dialog box opens with focus in the search edit box. 2. Type document presentation in the search edit box. The preview below filters out everything that does not relate to document presentation. 3. Press down arrow until focus moves to document presentation mode. 4. Press the space bar to choose screen layout. 3. Press down arrow until focus moves to document presentation mode. 4. Press the space bar to choose screen layout. 5. Press tab to move to the OK button and then press space bar to activate it. List end. Note colon by default. The quick settings for JAWS are saved to your computer hard disk and remain set this way until you change them back or to a different setting. If you determine that screen layout mode is better suited to your needs for all programs, you can do the following to permanently enable this feature globally: colon. List of 7 items.
Oh wait, hold on. Let me reread something. I zoned out for a second.
If you setting. Note colon by default. The quick settings for JAWS are saved to your computer hard disk and remain set this way until you change them back or to a different setting.
Okay.
If you determine that screen layout mode is better suited to your needs for all programs, you can do the following to permanently enable this feature globally: colon. List of 7 items. 1. In the web browser, press Insert plus F2. 2. Select Settings Center and press Enter. 3. Press Control plus Shift plus D to switch to the default file. 4. Focus it in the search edit box. Type in quote select layout quote without the quotes. 5. Press down arrow to move the select layout in the filtered results of the preview in Settings Center. 6. Press spacebar to toggle from simple layout to screen layout. 7. Press tab to move to the OK button and then activate it with the spacebar. The changes are made and saved. Settings Center closes. List end. Press Control plus F4 to close this window when you are finished reading it.
Okay. Yeah, seems pretty easy. So I'm going to Control F4.
Close document window. Tables with JAWS - Google Chrome. Main region. Visited link steps for switching to screen layout mode. Presentation mode. See exercise colon try reading the previous table using screen layout mode instead of simple layout mode. If you need a reminder about how to switch document. Presentation mode. See visited link steps for switching to screen layout mode.
Okay, I'm going to go back to the table.
Table with 4 columns and 13 rows. Average temperatures for St.
Okay, I'm going to do Insert V.
Quick settings - Chrome dialog. Search box edit. Type in text. Control plus E.
Type in presentation.
PRESENTATION.
Okay.
Document press. To search results list box. Document presentation mode. Simple layout. General options. Virtual cursor options. Use the arrow keys to select an item. Press the space bar to toggle between the choices.
That's it.
Space. Screen layout. 2 of 2.
There we go. Enter.
Enter. Search edit box cleared. Preview. Document presentation mode. Screen layout. 5 of 13. General options.
Escape.
Virtual cursor options. To move through or expand items, use the arrow escape.
Okay. And now let's down arrow. Or Control Alt and down arrow.
January row 2. Month row 1. High air temperature column 2. January 70 degrees row 2. February 71 degrees row 3. March 77 degrees 58 degrees 6. February 71 degrees 51 degrees. March row 4. High air temperature 77 degrees column low air temperature 58 degrees column 3. Gulf water temperature 69 degrees column 4. End of row. End of row. Low air temperature February 51 degrees row. January 50 degrees row 2.
Maybe I just don't know the difference between simple layout and screen layout, but I'm not seeing much of a difference. So I'm going to change it back to simple. Let's see.
Quick settings - Chrome dialog. Search box edit. Type in text. Control plus E. PENTAIIATION. Asian. 0 search results list box. Use the arrow keys.
Oh, what did I do? Let's escape and try again.
Escape. Search edit box cleared. Preview. Virtual cursor options. Open. 11 items. To move through or expand items, use the arrow escape.
Okay. Insert V.
Quick settings - Chrome dialog. Search box edit. Type in text. Control plus PRESENTATION.
There we go.
Present. To search results list box. Document presentation mode. Screen layout. General options. Virtual cursor options. Use the arrow keys to select an item. Press the space bar to toggle between the choices.
Let's see what the other option is.
Document presentation mode. Screen layout. General options. Personalized web settings. Document presentation mode. Screen layout. General options. Virtual cursor options. Document presentation mode. Screen layout. General options. Personalized web settings.
Okay, let's try. No. I don't think that has anything to do with it.
Space. Simple layout. 1 of 2.
Okay. Hit enter.
Enter. Level 0. Search edit box cleared. Preview. Level 2. Document presentation mode. Simple layout. Document setting. 5 of 13. General options. Personalized web settings.
Let's see what happens when I hit enter on this.
Enter. 64 degrees. 50 degrees. 70 degrees. 50 to 64 degrees. February. 64 degrees. 50 degrees.
Oh, I see. Okay. So when I was in screen layout mode, I think it read each row as I went down. Let's try that again because I'm curious.
Quick settings - Chrome dialog. Search box edit. Type in text. Control plus E.
I think you know by now that I'm doing
Space. Search edit box cleared.
Oops.
Escape. Search edit box cleared. Escape.
Okay. Insert V.
Quick settings - Chrome dialog. Search box edit. Type in text. Control plus E.
I was saying I think you know by now that that's what I'm doing. Okay.
PRESENTATION. Presentation. Document presentation mode. 1 of 2 search. 2 search results list box. Document presentation mode. Simple layout. General options. Document presentation mode. Simple layout.
Let's try screen layout.
Space. Screen layout. 2 of 2.
Okay. Enter.
Enter. Search edit box cleared. Preview. Document presentation mode. Screen layout. Document setting. 5 of 13. To move through or expand items, use the arrow keys.
Let's try enter again. That seemed to work last time.
Enter.
Okay, now let's use arrow keys.
February 71 degrees, 51 degrees, 65 degrees. January 70 degrees, 50 degrees, 64 degrees.
Yep, that's what it does, I think. It switches up. I mean, it reads the entire row. Let's see what it does with columns.
A. J.
I guess
Juliet.
you can't do that.
High air temperature, 70 degrees, column 2.
That was just your typical table commands, Control Alt arrow keys. Okay, let's change it back.
Space.
Oops.
Tables with JAWS. Visited link graphic surfs up.
Hold on.
Take space. Table with 6 columns and 5 rows. Table with 7 columns and 5 rows. Table with 6 columns and 5 rows. Table with 4 columns and 13 rows. Average temperatures for St. Petersburg. A table that has the average high temperature, low temperature, and water temperature across the top of the months of the year down the left-hand side for the St. Petersburg area. Column 1, row 1, month.
There we go. Okay. Insert V.
Quick settings dash Chrome dialog. Search box edit. Type of P. E. N. T. I. I. A. T. I. O. N. Asian. To search results list box. Document presentation mode screen layout. General options. Virtual cursor options. Use the arrow keys to select an item. Press the space bar to toggle between the space. Simple layout. 1 of 2. Enter. Search edit box cleared. Preview. Document presentation. Enter.
Alright.
High air temperature. Low air temperature.
There's that.
Gulf walk January 70 degrees. February 71 degrees, 51 degrees, 65 degrees.
Oh, I'm just going to do shift period. Hold on.
Table end. Blank. The information above is taken from the Chamber of Commerce website in St. Petersburg. Exercise : try reading the previous table using screen layout mode instead of simple layout mode. If you need a reminder about how to switch document. Presentation mode. See visited link steps for switching to screen layout mode. When you are finished, change JAWS back to simple layout mode.
Okay, there's that.
Surfs Up also makes use of cascading style sheets left parent CSS right parent for formatting purposes. Using CSS is a best practice technique for web designers and is the best way to accomplish formatting. One of the formatting techniques used in Surfs Up is to have cells that are classified as table header elements colored with a lemon yellow background, which is darker than the ivory background of the other table cells. The table below is an example of a table that uses the ID axis and headers attributes to make JAWS speak different information when navigating different areas of the table. For example, when moving up and down the employee name column, you hear the division name as the row header. However, when moving up and down the phone extension column, you hear the employee name as the row header. The employee name is actually in column 2, but the HTML code is telling JAWS to treat it as the row header in this case, rather than the text in column 1. In this case, JAWS reads properly without you having to change any settings for JAWS. Since the author of the table took the time to use good practices for coding the HTML of the table, any given cell can reference any other cell left parent or cells right parent anywhere in the table as a header using this technique. Summary: a table that has the employee's division in the first column, the employee's name in the second column, and the employee's phone extension in the last column.
Okay, hold on.
Table with 3 columns and 4 rows. Employee extensions and departments. A table that has the employee's division in the first column, the employee's name in the second column, and the employee's phone extension in the last column. Column 1, row 1, division name.
Okay, let's see.
Employee name, column 2. Division name.
Actually, I'm going to do insert space and T.
Space. T, table layer.
Okay, there we go.
Shipping, row 2. Division name, row 1. Beginning of row. Shipping, row 2. Receiving, row 3. Accounting, row 4. Bottom of column. Employee name, Sharon Jones, column 2. Phone extension, 222, column 3. 123, row 3. 543, row 2. Phone extension, row 1. Employee name, column 2. John Smith, row 2. Lee Johnson, row 3. Division name, receiving, column 1. Employee name, Lee Johnson, column 2. Phone extension, 123, column 3. End of row. 543, row 2. Phone extension, row 1. 543, row 2. 123, row 222, row 4. Bottom of column. Employee name, Sharon Jones, Lee Johnson, row 3. John Smith, row 2. Employee name, row 1.
Huh, I'm not getting any row headers. Maybe I'm missing something.
Top of column. John Smith, row 2. Phone extension, 543, column 3. End of row. Employee name, John Smith, column 2. Division name, shipping, column 1.
Okay, I'm going to escape and see if I'm missing something.
Phone extension, employee name.
Shift column, I get to the top. I think I'm already close.
Table with 3 columns and 4 rows. The last column, summary: other cell left parent or cells right parent anyway. Settings for JAWS. Since the author of the JAWS to treat it as the row header in this case, and down the phone extension column, you hear the employee name as the row header. The employee name is actually in column 2, but the HTML code is telling areas of the table. For example, the table below is an example of a table that uses the ID axis and headers attributes to make JAWS speak different information when navigating different areas of the table. For example, when moving up and down the employee name column, you hear the division name as the row header. However, when moving up and down the phone extension column, you hear the employee name as the row header. The employee name is actually in column 2, but the HTML code is telling JAWS to treat it as the row header in this case, rather than the text in column 1. In this case, JAWS reads properly without you having to change any settings for JAWS. Since the author of the table took the time to use good practices for coding the HTML of the table, any given cell can reference any other cell left parent or cells right parent anywhere in the table as a header using this technique.
Okay, I didn't see any row headers, but let's try again.
There are no span elements on this page.
Oh, oops.
Table with 3 columns and 4 rows. Employee extensions and departments. Shipping, row 2. Beginning of row. Employee name, John Smith, column, phone extension, 500. Employee name, division name, ship, employee name, row 1. John Smith, row 2. Phone extension, 543, column 3.
Oh, sorry, I thought someone was knocking on my door. Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing any row headers, so I'm not sure why.
Table end.
Okay, let's see.
Blank. This next table is much more complex, but notice how JAWS reads it when moving up and down column 2 where the company name is the row header information is gathered from column 1. The region when moving up or down any column from 3 to 8, the row header information is gathered from column 2. The company name. You also hear the access attribute spoken with the words quote region quote unquote where quote.
Hold on, I'm gonna go back to the top of this and read it again.
Table end. Blank. This next table is much more complex, but notice how JAWS reads it when moving up and down column 2 where the company name is the row header information is gathered from column 1. The region when moving up or down any column from 3 to 8, the row header information is gathered from column 2. The company name. You also hear the access attribute spoken with the words quote region quote unquote where quote. Summary listing of sales contacts by state. The region is in column 1 and the company name is in column 2. More information about each company is located in columns 3 through 8.
Okay. Gonna do T to jump to this. Maybe. I'm not sure. Okay. I made the goulash that I got. I actually may go to bed after this. I'm tired.
You might go to bed one.
I might go to bed after I finish this. It's an assignment for tech.
Table with 8 columns and 8 rows.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Sales contacts by state.
Let's see.
Bottom of column. Top of column. Heading level for blank. Company. West Screen Readers Unlimited. Row 2. Company. Row 1.
It's a big table. It'll be easier to do the layered command.
Title is tables with JAWS - Google Chrome. Main region. Level escape.
I did insert T instead of insert space T. As I said, I'm getting tired.
Space. T table layer.
All right, here we go. Oops.
West Screen Readers Unlimited. Row 2. Company. Row 1. Blank. Column 1. Beginning of row. West cell 1 of row spanning 4 rows. Row 2. West cell 2 of row spanning 4 rows. Row 3. West cell 3 of row spanning 4 rows. Row 4. West cell 4 of row spanning 4 rows. Row 5. Midwest cell 1 of beginning of row. Company. Special Computers Inc. Column 2. Midwest cell 1 of row spanning 3 rows. Column 1. Company. Special Computers Inc. West Accessible World. Row 5. West cell 4 of row spanning 4 rows. Company. Accessible World. Column 2. West Web Access Group. Row 4. West Access Now. Row 3. West Screen Readers Unlimited. Row 2. Company. Row 1. West Screen Readers Unlimited. Row 2. West Access Now. Row 3. West Web Access Group. Row 4. West Accessible World. Row 5. Midwest Special Computers Inc. Row 6. Midwest Independent State Computing. Row 7. Midwest Touch the World Inc. Row 8. Bottom of column.
Okay, so I just went down that column, so I'm going to go to the right.
Address 82S Broadway. Column 3. Midwest Independent State Computing. 2110 Freedom DR. Row 7. Midwest Special Computers Inc. 121 4th Street. Suite I. Row 6. Company. Special Computers Inc. Column 2. Address 121 4th Street. Suite I. Column 3.
Oh, that's cool.
West Accessible World. 5N 7th Street. Row 5.
So it does both. It does the first and second columns. It treats them both as a header.
West Web Access Group. 100 Main Street. Row 4. West Access Now. 115 Web Street. Row 3. West Screen Readers Unlimited. 52 3rd Ave. Row 2. City. Los Angeles. Column 4. State. Column 5. Phone number 555-555-1234. Column 6. Fax 949-555-0101. Call products. Screen readers. Column 8. End of row. West Access Now. Software semicolon braille display semicolon and buzzer semicolon note takers. Row 3. West Web Access Group. Software semicolon web accessibility. Fax 602-555 products. Software semicolon web accessibility consulting. Column 8. West Access Now. Software semicolon braille display semicolon and buzzer semicolon note takers. Row 3. West Web Access Group. Software semicolon web accessibility consulting. Row 4.
Interesting. Okay. Gonna. I think I can go to the next table now. Okay.
Table with 5 columns and 5 rows. Sales report. The first row spans all 5 columns. The weeks of the month are in row 2 and are column headers for the row below. The produce on sale for each week is listed in the third and subsequent rows. Column 1. Row 1. Produce on sale spans 5 columns.
I guess I should have gone up and looked at the context. Let's do that.
Sales report. Sales report. Table with 5 columns. Each week is listed in the summary colon. The first row spans all 5. In the following table, the first row at table end.
Okay.
In the following table, the first row actually spans the entire width of the table across all 5 columns. JAWS uses the span and scope attributes to determine how it should read the information in the table. Try reading this table now. Summary colon. The first row spans all 5 columns. The weeks of the month are in row 2 and are column headers for the row below. The produce on sale for each week is listed in the third and subsequent rows. Table with 5 columns and 5 rows.
Okay, let's see.
Wrapping the top. Table with 7 columns and 5 rows. TV listings with both column and row headers. Wrapping the bottom. Table with 5 columns and 5 rows. Sales report. The first row spans all 5 columns. The weeks of the month are in row 2 and are column headers.
Alright, looks like this is the last one. I do Control Alt arrow keys just so I can have started and ended with that, I think.
Blank. Row 2. Beginning of row. January. Row 3. February. Row 4. March. Row 5. Bottom of column. Produce on sale first week. Cherries. Column 2. February. Mangoes. Row 4. January. Apples. Row 3. First week. Row 2. Produce on sale spans 5 columns. Row 1. Top of column. First week. Produce on sale spans 5 columns. Row 1.
Okay, so produce on sale So that just spans all 5 columns because it's like a title, I guess.
First week, row 2. Produce on sale, blank, column 1. January, row 3, blank, row 2.
Well, sort of.
Produce on sale, first week, column 2. Produce on sale, second week, column, produce on sale, third week, column, produce on sale, fourth week, column, end of row. Produce on sale, blank, column 1. January, row 3. Produce on sale, first week, apples, column 2. Produce on sale, second week, pears, column 3.
Huh, nice. So it does both column headings.
Produce on sale, third week, oranges, column 4. Produce on sale, fourth week, grapes, column 5.
Or row headings, I'm not sure. It's the entire first row, I guess.
End of row.
Like I said, it would be.
February, kiwis, row 4. Produce on sale, third week, strawberries, column 4. Produce on sale, second week, tangerines, column 3. Produce on sale, first week, mangoes, column 2. Produce on sale, February, produce on sale, first week, mangoes, column 2. March, cherries, row 5. Produce on sale, second week, limes, column 3. Produce on sale, third week, lemons, column 4. Produce on sale, fourth week, melons, column 5, end of row. Produce on sale, first week, cherries, column 2, bottom of column.
Alright, that's the end of that one, I think.
Limes, lemons, melons, table end, blank. Main region end. Link back out, main region end, blank.
Yeah. Before I wrap up here, I'm going to go back and make sure I understand the information about this table.
Table end. March, cherries, lime, February, mangoes, January, first week, second week, third, produce on sale. Sales report table with 5 columns. Each week is listed in the third summary colon the first row span in the following table. The first row actually spans the entire width of the table across all 5 columns. JAWS uses the col span and scope attributes to determine how it should read the information in the table. Try reading this table now.
Okay. I see. So it doesn't give a whole lot of information. It just says that the entire first row is 1. Hold on.
Blank. In the following table, the first row actually spans the entire width of the table across.
Yeah, the first row is the entire width of the table. Okay, that makes sense. All right, so I think we are done here. So I'm going to close Google Chrome.
Alt F4. Return to meeting button to activate. Press space bar.
And let's do that. Did I not
Space.
maximize my window?
Windows up arrow.
Great. I hope it was okay. I hope my screen share is okay. Hold on.
Meeting controls. To move to an item, press the arrow keys. Meeting controls.
Okay. All right. So I think we're done. Hope this looks okay, I guess. And I will talk to you soon. All right. Bye.
Alt Q. End meeting or leave meeting. End meeting for all button to activate. Press space bar.
I guess with the new update, you have to tab to get to end meeting with all. Or end meeting for all. Sorry. Right. Bye.